Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated again, welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2, and welcome back to the Russian invasion of Manchuria. In the previous video, the Russian beach assault, the Russians took the beach and tried to storm the hill. They did indeed storm the hill, but they were unfortunately not capable when it came to taking the hill. The Japanese held them back, and I think that's a compliment to the Japanese rather than an insult to the Russians. They tried really hard, they had plenty of armor, but they were unfortunately not able to take the hill itself. So the Japanese have refortified their positions, the Russians have reorganized, and they're going to try again, so to speak. The Japanese have brought up tanks, way more infantry than they had in the first place. They've been given like weeks to prepare for this, or at least days. I think weeks would be a little bit overkill, but the Russians have also been given the same amount of time to prepare for their next assault, the second assault in total, and they've brought up more tanks, way more infantry, they've landed plenty of supplies, and they're ready to do it. The Japanese have not brought up any more AT guns to the hill. It looks like more infantry and machine guns, but way more infantry than we saw in the first place. I saw 2 mortars down there too, and 2 tanks with 57mm guns, I believe. Not the heaviest kind, but the Japanese weren't master engineers when it came to tanks, as far as I am concerned. Not in comparison to the Russians and Germans, so to speak. Here is the new addition to the map that I'm really proud of. I've been working on this section for about 1.5 days now. It is indeed a city. I was going to add a little small village or something like this, but I built a city, and it looks fantastic in my opinion. We've got more elite Japanese infantry back here. I've actually deployed Takasago volunteers, and the Takasago volunteers were like the Gurkhas to the Brits in a way. They were Taiwanese elite infantry fighting for the Imperial Japanese Army, and they're going to be defending this town back here. I'm not sure if that geographically makes any sense, but even though you're from one part of the world doesn't mean that you can't fight in another part, so to speak. The Japanese army would deploy them at their own leisure, and the positions are well and strengthened. There's plenty of sandbags, there's more tanks in the city, plenty of AT, plenty of machine guns. This is going to be a really intense fight. That is indeed a speaker playing music for the soldiers defending the city. Took a while to find some cool Japanese World War II tunes, so to speak. But that is indeed the speaker itself playing music. I haven't added the music in Sony Vegas or anything else. It's in the game, and it's going to be playing throughout the battle. Well, looks like it's evening time. The sun is about to set, and the night will soon be upon us. So, as the Japanese troops here will have to stay awake to fight the Russians, this music will inspire them and give them fighting courage. Anyway, well, before the night sets, I think we should initiate the first assault. The Russians are about to attack. It's going to be a nice one. We see some craters here from the previous fight. Some of the tanks have probably been removed by either of the sides to perhaps the Japanese have removed them or something. I don't know. Scrapped them. Alright, let's start the fight. Here come the Russian attack. This is the first wave, supported by 3 tanks. T-34-85s. Same tanks they used in the previous assault. And the infantry is going to be charging the Japanese positions to try and get as close as possible to the defenders. Look at that. Tanks rolling up. More infantry's arriving as well. Explosions all over the battlefield. The Japanese troops on the hill are now finding their targets. They're getting ready to open fire as well. We have some scouts back here near the bottom of the hill. behind the first line. The mortars are still firing. Plenty of Japanese infantry still opening up with the Russian attackers. And the tanks are just rolling forward. There's no stopping them. The infantry will have to try and keep up and move up behind the assaulting tanks. This Russian attack is insanely powerful in comparison to the first one. Not as much infantry was used. In fact, the first attack that we saw on the hill in the previous video was used with like infantry and marines from the first landing. This is a couple of days later, so way many more Russian infantry have been landed, and along with tanks and whatnot. So the Russians have definitely established a foothold, and the invasion of Manchuria has been underway for a longer time as well than it had originally, which means that the Russians have gotten a better foothold in Manchuria in general, because it was not only a coastal invasion. Of course, they attacked all along the borderline between Russia and Manchuria as well. So this hill is very vital to take. You obviously need to take and control this hill in order to be able to attack the positions down below. Look at that. Didn't get too good of a look. We got some Japanese light tanks hidden around the city. More music playing, of course. Medium tank back there, and there's just infantry everywhere. They're hard to spot, but if I showed you the minimap, you'd see them all. But once night falls and all the muzzle flashes start showing more clearly, then you're gonna tell how many Japanese defenders there are. We're talking good 150 to 175 or something like that. There's just several companies holding that city right now, and well, tanks are rolling up, infantry's arriving as well. And the positions are opening up. All tanks are rolling up now. Oh, look at that. Looks absolutely epic. Some Russians have even started attacking the hill on the left side. We have a commissar here. What does he want? Some medal? The Order of Stalin or something? I don't know what medals the Russians employed during World War II, but that is cool. So the first, or the smaller hill section is being greatly attacked. That's an AT grenade. Ooh, bounced off though. I think the tank will be fine. That one bounced off as well. The tank did indeed survive. Commissar was killed trying to get really close to the Japanese positions, and now the higher hilltop back here is starting to take a lot of fire. But there's not much on the hill here that can stop the Russian attack. They can only really delay them and hold them back. There's nothing standing between the Russians and the city once this hill goes down. Once this defensive position goes down, the city is in severe risk of being captured. Civilians have to be evacuated, and they probably have left a long time ago when the Russians actually invaded the beach not too far away from the city. And as they attacked the hill, the people of the city realized it's a very big likelihood that they're gonna take it. But they've had faith in their Japanese defenders, of course. Final defense is about to fall as the sun slowly heads down over the horizon. A few hours later, and the Russians have organized themselves after taking the hill. They're about to attack the city now. It's a pretty calm night with a light rain. The only thing that's about to upset it is obviously the Russian assault here with the 3 T-34-85s rolling up on the city. Can be quite a scary sight for the Japanese defenders. Some of the tanks they've deployed closer to the river here, separating the city from the hill, are going to take some serious fire. The elite Japanese defenders now are well dug in, and they're ready to receive the Russian infantry storming down from the hill. Their silhouettes can be seen even in the night. They're coming everywhere. We see a big storm back there. They're running in line. Here we go. The defense will now be severely tested. We'll see if it can hold out. We have a Japanese bazooka right here that's zeroing in on one of the T-34-85s. If it gets close enough, it's definitely going to go down. I believe the bazooka will be capable of taking it out. We'll have to find out if the bazooka can stay alive. He's lucky to have avoided one of the tank shells. Boom! Shot away. It did not penetrate. He's going to try again. We've got one tank heading for the school here, or the temple area, and he's going to just ram through the wall to bring it down. Look at that. Ooh! He just got through, but one of the bazookas inside managed to hit him as he did that, and the tank's gone down too. So 2 T-34-85s down. All 3 tanks are down. Wow. Look at that. And it's all up to the Russian infantry now to try and secure the city itself. We're going to look on this side where there's a little marketplace here. Kind of an open trading area near the highway that leads out of the city and goes well, west and east, I presume. Russian infantry is about to cross the river. Speakers are still playing music, but it's hard to hear over all the gunshots and explosions. So the Russians attacking on this side have made some good progress getting into the city itself. They've actually started storming the Japanese sandbag positions here. Some Russian shock infantry with some PPSHs are going to go in and spray down the Japanese defenders, obviously taking a lot of casualties themselves. I think the Russian tanks attacking across did pretty good. Must have taken out quite a lot of defenders with their guns and machine guns, but the Russian infantry is definitely going to be the decider here. The attack on the right side is not going as well. They haven't really crossed the river yet. The Japanese defenders here by the sandbags are still holding the temple entrance. It seems to be like a school/temple. This is a school building. And back here you've got sort of a temple area that's been fortified and definitely emptied out. There's no monks or teachers practicing currently. They've all been evacuated or they're hiding somewhere. I'm not sure how many people are actually living in the city right now, but it's pretty dead in terms of activity. All the shops are closed. All the markets are closed as well. It's definitely not flourishing as it did years ago. Or even weeks ago. Oh, Russian infantry is definitely starting to enter now. Infantry on this side is going to have to try and... I presume it'd be smart to try and charge through the broken walls here and sort of secure the courtyard, but there's a lot of Japanese defenders here. Their positions are so dug in. I mean, look at it. Absolutely insane. We have a Japanese machine gunner behind a well over here. Or perhaps a storage space. You could lower fish into the underground there because it's cold, moist, and preserve it that way. Salted fish. I'm not sure. Could be a well too, but they might even have pouring water here. I'm not sure how technologically advanced this city is itself. Fending the street corners. We even have some Japanese defenders here. So it's going to be hard to tell the difference between the Japanese and Russians. They're going to get so involved with each other, so to speak. And they look a little bit... I mean, their uniforms are fairly similar, and it's hard to tell in the night. But you'll just have to base it off who's shooting at each other, I guess. Or who's shooting at who. The Japanese people here are still holding it down nicely. Submachine gunners, machine guns. I even have a bazooka right there who's opening up at some of the Russians who haven't crossed the river yet. Love the sound of that DP-29. Or perhaps it might be a DP-27 to be exact. A lot of Russian infantry here just holding this line down. They haven't progressed past this. They're just all like holding it down here. Trying to battle the Japanese defenders at range. This street hasn't really been contested yet. No Russian infantry has tried to make its way down here yet. Got some back here by the tank, patching up, reloading, getting situated. The Japanese defenders are still very alert and active. I think the Russians are going to try and attack on the side here. I don't think it's going to work out very well for them. That is absolutely crazy. Look at the slaughter. Well, the Japanese are doing well defending it right now. Come to a bit of a stalemate. The Russians aren't making much progress right now. Mainly taking a lot of casualties as they're quite suppressed. Can't really catch a break here, but more reinforcing Russian armor has arrived. This SU tank here is just going to ram through the wall again, try and make another opening. Look at that. Oh, hit by a bazooka. Well, they've created another opening, but they're quite literally slaughtered as they try. Another tank has decided to go down the center to really open up. The Japanese tank back there has fallen casualty. Oh, to the fight. They're still actually fighting each other. Just the tracks that have been disabled. The tank itself is still very much active. I don't think it's going to be able to bring down the T-34-85, though. I'll have to find out who wins this tank standoff. I think it was just penetrated. We might see some crewmen jump out. Nope. That was not the case. Has the T-34 been detracked? No, it's not. Oh, it has. So it's unable to move. That tank standoff is going to continue throughout the night. The Japanese infantry is unfortunately not able to really deal with the tank. Bazooka's out of range, and the infantry is not going to stand up to throw any grenades. Oh, there we go. The Japanese tank disabled the Russian T-34. Wow. Interesting. I thought the positioning would make the T-34 a clear winner in that situation, but I guess not. The Russian infantry is still trying to make some way into the city, but Japanese defenders are just killing everyone. Look at this small alleyway here between the two houses. There's a whole just half a dozen of Russian attackers killed, literally slain. But the Russians, there's plenty of infantry around here. They're just all holding down their positions. This is a fight for every square meter, definitely. We have some men crawling around here looking for wounded. It's a bloody siege. And right now it's not really going in the Russians' favor here. It's a bit of a stalemate. We might even see the stalemate last throughout the night, and where the battle might pick up in the morning when the sun is up and when you can see more clearly. It's hard for the infantry to see what they're shooting at. They're going to have to try and shoot at muzzle flashes and whatnot. Interesting battle out here. Some defenders back here. There's another light tank covering the street. You'd have to preferably flank this guy here to take it out. Oh, this is very interesting. Russian infantry patching up, looking for wounded. It's just slaughter throughout the city. Gruesome, gruesome indeed. The Russians will have to hold down this position and wait for further reinforcements before they can make their next move to try and take the city. The Japanese might be reinforced as well. We have some more infantry coming in right now. They could have been back receiving supplies or something, but they're going to relieve another set of units who were just here. I think that might be the case. Now they're talking, they're discussing the situation. Nope, they're gonna try and bring down the Japanese defenders, but some are moving in, some were moving out, it seemed. The sun is up and the siege continues. It's been going on throughout the entire night now for a good 9 hours since the battle actually started by the hill back there. And more infantry's been added to the mix. The Russians are continuously receiving reinforcements. It's a matter of time here until they actually take the city itself. The Japanese are going to defend it until the very last man. A couple of IS-1s have been deployed now. That's interesting. The Russians did not exactly have the state-of-the-art equipment on the far eastern front, so to speak, towards the Japanese. They spent most of their more developed tanks and equipment towards the Germans during 1945 and, of course, at the end of 1944. Well, we have some IS-1s deployed over here. They're going to be facing it off with the remaining Japanese defenders. This tank is still active. It took down one of the T-34-85s. Now it's going to be facing off against this IS-1. I just don't think it's going to come out victorious out of that one. And the Japanese tank has been killed. I think the crew inside of it were just smoked with one of those AP shells. Russian infantry is through, well, manpower and overwhelming force managed to clear out the market area here. Now they need to progress onto the next street, where there are more Japanese defenders. Plenty of grenades being thrown around, and even a light tank back there that might cause a little bit of a problem. This IS-1 seems to have gone down, or it might not. They're still shooting at it, but it's broken through the wall. They've definitely opened up here. More Russian infantry back here, trying to battle the defenders at range. It's just a slaughter of Russian infantry having attempted to take the courtyard itself. Some of the Japanese defenders up front are now starting to get killed. But it's a slow and painful fight for both the defenders and the attackers. Every corner and every angle is covered. It's going to be a very tough one to break through. Looks like they were blown back by the blast of the grenade, and I think the second throw there actually killed them. No, that one, they're both alive. Just I'm not sure if that's a good idea, guys, to throw grenades at that range. You're definitely just gonna knock yourself out, and not in a fun way, in a pretty bad way. This tank is still active. They've probably just stirred up the crew inside, and good attempt there. Perhaps they wanted to die. I don't know what their motivation was, but that's indeed what happened. Has this Japanese tank been dealt with? No, it's still active. The reason why it's turned its turret around is because it's got the machine guns on this side, which is obviously preferred in terms of fighting infantry. Still no great progress here. Courtyard is still being held. I wonder if they're all going to run out of ammunition anytime soon. Probably not. They've plenty of supply trucks around here, so that you can tell the Japanese have definitely made sure that their defenders would have the best chance possible at holding the city itself. Plenty of Russian infantry standing around here. Speakers still playing. We owe it all to the speakers. That's why the Japanese are so defending this so die-hardly. I don't even know. That's not even a word. But they're doing it. They're doing it good. They're doing it well. It's nice to look at a city from a distance. This used to be really pretty once I started building it. Now there's just craters and explosions and burning vehicles everywhere. Not as visually pleasing. In one way or another, it is though. It's pretty cool, I have to say. Well, I'm not seeing any great progress right now. Are the Russians really doing anything? Are there any moves being put out on the field? I'm not sure. I'm going to give this tank a little bit of guidance because the AI, unfortunately, isn't really quite capable of doing too much of that themselves, especially not in an urban environment. So I'm going to go ahead and send this guy up, roll it down the street fearlessly, charging the Japanese tanks and the infantry with all their AT grenades. And did they just take out the tracks? They're all throwing grenades at it, bullying it like as much as they can, but nope. That light tank is down. They just shocked the crew a bit. I mean, the blast must really knock him around inside the tank. But the grenades were not powerful enough to do any significant damage. There we go. One thrown at the engine, though. That's going to break down the engine. It's going to start burning. That might result in an explosion. The infantry is still inside the vehicle, though. They're going to start boiling soon. The tanker is jumping out. One guy gets shot in the spine there by one of the Japanese defenders. There we go. It is really breaking apart. I don't think we're going to see an explosion. Oh, it's burning from the inside now. That's pretty cool. That IS-1 skin looks like it's from, like, Men of War. What happened to the Assault Squad 2 quality? I don't know why. Perhaps it's the mod. Look at that.
The Russians are still waiting for more fresh reinforcements. They're being landed right now. They're gonna try and break it down once and for all, but we'll see if they'll be capable in doing so. This is such a bloody fight right now. Oh, wow. This is crazy, guys. The Russians have been ordered to charge the street, the main street itself. Mass infantry charge. You can hear the screams throughout the entire city. It's in an attempt to break down the Japanese defenses by overwhelming them. Seems to be working right now, but the Russians are losing massive amounts of numbers here, just trying to execute their strategy. Seems a little bit 1942 of the Russians to do these mass charges, but they're no short of manpower right now. Screams can be heard throughout the city. The charge is on their way. They're really trying to gain some ground now. The charge is over, and so is the battle, almost. Right now, the remnants of the Japanese defense is being rounded up and killed. The Russian charge was a success in many ways, but it left the streets littered with dead Russians. There are hundreds and hundreds. You can't even look anywhere and not see dead Russians. Hope you guys enjoyed today's battle. We're going to look at casualties quickly. The Russians will be in red, and the Japanese in yellow. And, well, look at that. It's just absolutely insane. This courtyard was not entirely secured yet. There are a few Japanese defenders back here who are still holding it down. They're about to be killed, though. They're going to be surrounded. The Russians are trying to work around here to knock out a small Japanese defense back here by some sort of factory. So they're about to be killed. This battle's been going on for so long. And right now it's just a matter of rounding up the small pockets of defense here and destroying them. But the main battle is over. You can hear some of the gunshots there in the distance. We'll look at some of the casualties back here. Not even comparable to the casualties taken in the city itself. And here stands that flag carrier. I don't know why he stopped here, but he didn't want to let the Russian standard there get into the hands of the Japanese, and we can tell that the remnants of the defense are starting to get killed there, and the Russians are going to flank in around the factory and kill the remnants inside this temple area. So I hope you guys enjoy this massive battle. It took me long to make, and I had a pretty good time editing it. I'm sure I will. I haven't really done that yet, to be honest, but it's been a lot of work. If you guys want to see more battles like this with shifting environments and time zones and whatnot, or times in general, then let me know, and I'll be sure to make more. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon again. Bye.